Hello everyone, my name is Nitsu and I'm back with another Spoiler Sunday video. So this is the time of the week where I take a look at all of the spoilers we got for the Digimon card game and, well, talk about them. So right now we're still in spoiler season for the brand new starter decks of Ragnaloardmon and Jesmon, and these decks are looking to be pretty powerful and pretty interesting. Granted, not all of the cards are going to be that powerful or that interesting, and they still need to have something to round them out, as we're currently seeing here, with the first spoiler being Kotemon. So Kotemon is going to be a black vanilla rookie that has the ever so classic stats of 2 to hard play, 0 to evo, and 3000 DP, just making him a relatively efficient rookie. But we could gather just from this one spoiler that the whole Nightmon package or Nightmon line that's going to be included inside of the deck is actually going to be black, and unfortunately it doesn't necessarily have the best of synergy with something like Lord Nightmon. We could still build a pretty interesting deck around Knights as a theme, just because we have lots of Knight-based synergies that are also in black as well, thanks to Minatamon and the Skull Knight package as well. So it seems like we could put those cards into that type of a deck to help flesh out that type of deck, on top of whatever Knight stuff might be coming later down the line. But I think that's kind of cool and kind of interesting that we have all of these different ways to take advantage of various different synergies based on types and color alone. Next, we have another vanilla card. This time it's coming from the Jesmon deck, and it is actually going to be a new version of Maramon. So this new version of Maramon is just another vanilla, not doing anything too special, except his stats are a little bit on the different side compared to some of the others that we've seen. So he is a red at level 4 that is 4 to hard play, 1 to evo, and 4000 DP. So we've seen Maramon in purple be 5 to hard play, 5000 DP with 1 to evo, and then we've seen this type of stat before with 6 to hard play, 6000 DP, and 1 to evo. So it seems like they're just trying to play around with those stat distributions to figure out new ways to have different stats, and these stats actually could matter depending on what you want to try to gain out of the card. Next up, we have another relatively basic card in the form of Volkemon. So Volkemon is a pretty solid Digimon. He has the 2-color typing of red and black, so that's already looking to be pretty strong, on top of the fact that he could evo for red and black for a little bit more of a cost than what I would have liked, but his abilities seem pretty generically strong, of having blocker and security attack +1. So that's kind of why he's evoing for 4, is because of that 2-colorness on top of 2 very solid abilities, with some decent stats at him being 9000 DP for a level 5. Then on top of that, he is also going to be a cyborg, so we have different ways that we could use the card, not only inside of the Jesmon starter deck, but outside of the Jesmon starter deck as well, in machine cyborg based decks that want to take advantage of red and black, and this is just a good card to use in general to think about playing in those types of decks as well, on top of whatever that is going to be coming in the Jesmon to take advantage of this. So because this card is red and black, I'm actually thinking that Genkumon is either going to be also red-black, or he's just going to stay black, and this is the transition card in the deck to be able to make you use Genkumon. So I'm really excited to see what the rest of the starter deck has in terms of how Genkumon is going to be supported and what he's going to be looking like. Next up, we have Brywe Lugermon. So Brywe Lugermon is going to be one of the level 6s to come out of the Ragnaloardmon deck. So this card is going to be one of the main parts and pieces that you're going to want to use to be able to get up into your Ragnaloardmon powerfully and efficiently. So stat-wise, he really isn't doing anything too special. He is a black Digimon that could digivolve off of a black and a red at level 5 for 4. He's 11 to hard play and has 12,000 DP, so nothing too special there, but he does have some really good abilities that make it getting into your Ragnaloardmon and being in your Ragnaloardmon relatively powerful. So he has a nice ability that happens during your turn. When this Digimon's Digivolution source is increased via one of your own effects, then it can't be deleted or returned to the hand or deck by your opponent's card effects until the end of the opponent's next turn. So this is already just really powerful because, well, it seems like the Legend Arms deck is going to want to try to put cards into its inheritable sources. We kind of already saw that last week where they have on-play abilities to just shove themselves underneath some of their other Digimon, and that's looking to be the way that this wants to be triggered. So that way we have a Digimon that could at least protect itself, so it could stick around long enough for ragnaloardmon to come out and, well, actually be able to use ragnaloardmon. So there is just a lot of removal in the game that this card isn't affected by, but there is removal in the game that this card is affected by, so even though we are seeing a little bit more protection, they also have answers to said protection. And then on top of that, he also has a when digivolving ability, where we get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck. Then we get to play 1 7-costed Digimon from among them with Legend Arms in their traits for free, and then return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So his When Digivolving ability is trying to set up his first ability, where we're going to want to try to pull one of those cards that's going to shove himself underneath one of our Digimon, him being the Digimon we want them to be shoved under, so that way we can trigger that first ability for his second ability. So it seems like the card just has lots of good and high synergy with how the deck seems to be wanting to play. And then on top of that, he has a nice inheritable skill for our ragnaloardmon, where during the opponent's turn, when this Digimon is ragnaloardmon, then it can't be affected by card effects from your opponent's Digimon. So it could still be affected by options, and even though he might not have this all-encompassing protection all of the time, he's still going to have some protection some of the time, and that's still just a very powerful ability to have, ensuring that your big boss monster is going to be able to stick around. Next up, we have a new version of Durandumon. So to go along with Brywe Lugermon, which is usually the defensive backbone of ragnaloardmon because, you know, he is the shield Digimon, we also have Durandumon, which is going to be more of an offensive backbone because, you know, he is the sword Digimon. So what this card is doing is he has some very similar stats to Brywe Lugermon, except he evos for 3 off of red and black while being a red level 6 Digimon and has 11,000 DP as a result. So it seems like these are going to be very comparable in terms of how they want to be played, because he has a nice ability where during your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon's Digivolution source is increased via one of your card effects, then this Digimon gains plus 3,000 DP and security attack plus 1 for the turn. So it seems like he's just trying to boost himself with his own ability to try to make our ragnaloardmon even stronger when we go up into him. And then on top of that, he has a when attacking ability that's going to be feeding into this first ability, where we get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck. Then we get to play 1 7-costed Digimon with Legend Arms in its traits from among them for free, and then the rest go to the bottom. So instead of triggering it when we're digivolving up into it, because we have a lot less likelihood of a chance to pass the turn if we have a memory tamer set up off of 3 memory than off of 4 memory to evo. So the idea is we're actually going to be trying to use Durandumon to be able to swing, and they planned Brywe Lugermon for us to use when we don't swing. So that's kind of interesting to think about. And then on top of that, he has a nice inheritable skill, again, trying to support ragnaloardmon, with his ability where during your turn, while this Digimon is a ragnaloardmon, then it doesn't activate the security effects of any options that are checked. So we see this delicate plan type of effect being used more and more, just because there are more and more powerful security abilities that we don't want to trigger, and Red doesn't necessarily have the best ways of fighting back against that without this type of ability, because the whole purpose of what a lot of Red decks generally like to do is just punch the opponent once really, really hard, and if the Digimon gets interrupted anytime during that attack, then it kind of ruins the whole purpose of that. So that's kind of why they're including this ability more and more, and I definitely like seeing it because this works not only just with the old ragnaloardmon, but the new ragnaloardmon as well. And then the last card that we got spoiled over this week is going to be a new version of Zuba Eggerman. So Zuba Eggerman is going to be a red level 4 that could digivolve for 2 off of red or black level 3. So again, the deck actually wants you to be able to play both sides of it, and this kind of helps you be able to play both sides. And then stat-wise, he's not really doing anything too interesting, because we're not necessarily trying to use this card to attack, we're just trying to use this card for its abilities. So his on-play ability is what we saw similar to last week with the Ludamon line, where we get to place this Digimon to the bottom bottom of one of your Digimon with legend arms in its traits, or one of your other black Digimon's Digivolution sources to delete one of the opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. So this is going to be the primary card you're going to want to use to pop some of those lower level Digimon to help try to control the field. Then he has a nice inheritable ability for whatever we're shoving him under, where when attacking, when we have a Digimon with legend arms in its traits or is a black Digimon, then we get to delete one of the opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP, thus adding even more control to the deck to try to pop some of those low level Digimon, because sometimes those low level Digimon can be problematic or really annoying to deal with. But that's kind of all we have for this week in terms of spoilers. It's pretty light just because there's not a whole lot of cards in the starter decks, and they want to spread it out a little bit more before the starter decks release in Japan. But I'm really looking forward to when we get these starter decks along with the release of BT10, just because I think that these starter decks are actually pretty strong in terms of what they're trying to do and the mechanics they're playing with. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.